Geraldine, a 17-year-old athlete from Spain, harbored a fervent ambition to compete in the Olympics by the age of 21. Her life took an unexpected turn during a planned mountain trip with her teammates, Lee and Pam, who shared her athletic passion. When they embarked on the journey in Pam's father's Jeep to a secluded cabin deep in the woods, Geraldine anticipated a thrilling adventure amidst the breathtaking mountains and winding riverbeds. Pam's family's wealth afforded them the luxury of owning the cabin, promising an unforgettable getaway. While Lee, a book enthusiast, sought solace in literary worlds, Geraldine's focus remained steadfast on track training, inspired by her athlete mother. Living with her single mother, Geraldine was accustomed to high expectations, perpetually striving for excellence. The trip offered a much-needed respite from the relentless pressure Geraldine faced. Upon arrival, eager to escape the scorching heat, Geraldine wasted no time in heading for a refreshing swim. However, her tranquility was shattered when she encountered a creature in the water that resembled a snake. Despite her initial shock, Geraldine cautiously assessed the creature's behavior, gauging any potential threat it posed. Sensing danger, she made a swift attempt to retreat, propelling herself upward with all her might as the creature swiftly approached. In the moments before resurfacing, Geraldine felt a peculiar sensation in her ear, igniting a wave of concern. Despite her efforts to evade the creature, uncertainty lingered, casting a shadow over what was supposed to be a carefree excursion. With a surge of fear, she urgently signaled to her friends to flee the water, their hearts pounding in unison with hers. After a hurried shower to wash away the residue of her distress, they sought solace in a nearby restaurant, hoping to quell their nerves with food and distraction. Yet, even as they watched the sun sink behind the majestic peaks from the comfort of the porch, Geraldine's unease persisted like an unwelcome shadow, casting a pall over the otherwise idyllic scene. As the evening deepened, so did Geraldine's discomfort, her once mild anxiety escalating into a feverish turmoil that set her friends on edge. Lee, renowned for her meticulous nature, delved into the depths of her research to shed light on Geraldine's mysterious encounter with the creature in the water. Her findings offered a glimmer of relief, suggesting that the creature was likely a harmless baby water snake, its bite posing no serious threat. Yet, despite this reassurance, Geraldine's agitation only intensified, her rising temperature a palpable testament to her escalating anxiety. As night fell and the world around them retreated into slumber, Geraldine's suffering reached a crescendo. In the silent hours before dawn, she awoke to a searing pain that tore through her ear like fire, wrenching anguished cries from her throat. Lee and Pam, roused from their own restless sleep, rushed to her side, their hearts constricted with fear as they beheld their friend writhing in torment. Despite their desperate attempts to offer comfort and solace, Geraldine's agony only deepened, her cries echoing through the night like a haunting lament. In a desperate bid to ease her suffering, Pam gently pried Geraldine's hand away from her ear, her breath catching in her throat as she beheld the sight that awaited her, a sight that would plunge them all into a maelstrom of terror and despair. Lee's stomach churned with horror as she gazed upon the grotesque scene unfolding before her. Following Pam's frantic reaction, she too peered into Geraldine's ear, only to be met with a sight so horrifying that it sent her reeling. Overwhelmed by revulsion, Lee staggered towards the bathroom, her body convulsing with violent retching as she struggled to purge the ghastly image from her mind. Meanwhile, Pam fought to regain her composure, her heart pounding with fear as she sprang into action. Hastily slipping on her boots and snatching up her keys, she joined Lee in carrying their stricken friend to the waiting car, her mind a tumult of panic and desperation as they raced towards the hospital. When they hurtled down the darkened road, their journey fraught with peril and uncertainty, Pam and Lee were gripped by a sense of unreality, a nightmarish tableau unfolding before them, each moment more surreal than the last. Their frantic attempts to summon help were thwarted by the cruel whims of fate, leaving them stranded on the roadside, their only hope resting on the slim chance of encountering a passing vehicle. Meanwhile, Geraldine's suffering intensified, her cries of pain echoing through the silent night as the malevolent presence within her ear continued its relentless assault. Blood oozed from her wounded ear, her eyes rolling back in her head as she teetered on the brink of consciousness, her very life hanging in the balance. With time running out and their friend's condition rapidly deteriorating, Pam and Lee knew they had to act quickly. Drawing on reserves of courage they never knew they possessed, they set about devising a plan to extricate the writhing serpent that had ensnared Geraldine in its deadly embrace. With trembling hands and faltering resolve, Pam wielded her tweezers while Lee prepared the necessary supplies, their hearts heavy with dread as they confronted the horrifying reality of their situation. Yet, despite their valiant efforts, the creature remained stubbornly entrenched, its serpentine form a chilling testament to the fragility of human life and the capricious whims of fate. As Geraldine lapsed into unconsciousness, her fragile form racked with agony, Pam and Lee were left to grapple with the terrifying specter of the unknown, a shadowy realm where nightmares roamed unchecked and the boundaries between reality and madness blurred beyond recognition. And as the first rays of dawn illuminated the horizon, casting long shadows across the landscape, they could only pray that help would arrive in time to save their friend from the clutches of a fate too terrible to contemplate. When Geraldine lay in the ICU, her friends anxiously hovered in the waiting area, their hearts heavy with worry. Meanwhile, the medical team faced a daunting challenge, the delicate task of extracting the serpent that had ensnared Geraldine's fate. With each passing moment, the stakes grew higher, and the doctors were forced to confront the grim reality of their predicament. As the surgical team prepared for the arduous procedure ahead, tension hung thick in the air, their every move fraught with uncertainty. With the snake firmly lodged within Geraldine's ear, the physicians wrestled with a dilemma: how to extract the creature without causing further harm to their fragile patient. In a desperate bid to save Geraldine's life, the surgeons embarked on a daring surgical intervention, their skilled hands guided by precision and resolve. Yet, even as they succeeded in removing the serpent from its unsuspecting host, a new threat emerged, a shadow looming over the operating theater, casting a pall of fear and apprehension. While the medical team grappled with the aftermath of the surgery, their worst fears were realized. A scan revealed ominous signs of injury to Geraldine's brain, plunging her into a coma from which she might never awaken. Despite their tireless efforts, the doctors were powerless to reverse the damage wrought by the insidious intruder that had infiltrated her mind. For Pam and Lee, the news was devastating, their hopes shattered by the cruel twist of fate that had robbed their friend of her vitality and strength. As Geraldine's mother lashed out in grief and anger, blaming the girls for her daughter's plight, Pam and Lee found themselves cast adrift in a sea of guilt and remorse, their friendship tested to its limits by forces beyond their control. In the agonizing days and weeks that followed, Geraldine's condition deteriorated further, leaving her paralyzed and helpless, a prisoner in her own body. With each passing day, the weight of her immobility grew heavier, her world shrinking to the confines of a hospital bed, her dreams slipping through her fingers like grains of sand. As Geraldine's mother struggled to keep her daughter alive, grappling with the crushing burden of medical bills and uncertainty, she clung to the slender hope that someday, somehow, her beloved child might find a way back to the world of the living. Yet, even as Geraldine lay trapped in her silent prison, a new terror reared its head, a serpent of a different kind, creeping its insidious way into her consciousness, tormenting her with visions of dread and despair. And as she gazed up at the ceiling, her heart pounding with fear, she knew that her battle was far from over, her worst nightmares lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. When the snake drew closer, Geraldine's heart raced, her body drenched in sweat, and her breaths coming in ragged gasps. Trapped and immobile, she longed desperately for escape, but her paralysis held her captive. With every fiber of her being, she willed the serpent to retreat, yet it seemed to heed her wishes no more than the wind. Closing her eyes, Geraldine sought solace within herself, reaching deep into the recesses of her mind. In a moment of desperation, she visualized her right hand lifting, summoning all her focus and determination to make her imagination a reality. When she opened her eyes, the snake lay coiled on the bed beside her, its menacing presence a chilling reminder of her vulnerability. Undeterred, Geraldine concentrated once more, willing her hand to move, and to her amazement, it obeyed, dropping an object from the bedside table with a clatter. Rushing into the room at the sound, the nurse discovered Geraldine's hand in motion, a sight that defied explanation. With a mixture of concern and bewilderment, she examined Geraldine, finding no trace of the serpent that had haunted her patient's thoughts. Reporting the incident to Geraldine's mother, the nurse's revelation sparked a newfound hope in the depths of despair. Devoting herself wholeheartedly to her daughter's recovery, Geraldine's mother embraced the possibility of a brighter future, rallying behind her with unwavering support. With the aid of dedicated doctors and a determined spirit, Geraldine embarked on a grueling journey of rehabilitation, tapping into the power of her mind to overcome physical limitations. Through sheer perseverance and inner strength, she reclaimed her independence, learning to walk, feed herself, and bathe without assistance. Though her ears remained impaired, Geraldine adapted with resilience, embracing tools such as hearing aids, sign language, and lip reading to navigate her world. Yet, even as she forged ahead on her path to recovery, she faced another daunting challenge: reconnecting with friends who had been absent during her darkest hours. Driven by a desire for reconciliation, Geraldine reached out to Pam and Lee, extending an olive branch of forgiveness and understanding. Overjoyed at the prospect of reuniting with their friend, Pam and Lee eagerly accepted her invitation, eager to mend the bonds that had been strained by adversity. As they reunited, Geraldine's mother acknowledged her own shortcomings, offering a heartfelt apology to Pam and Lee for her earlier accusations. Touched by her sincerity, the girls accepted her words with grace, their friendship emerging stronger than ever before. With a renewed sense of purpose, Geraldine resolved to confront her fears head-on, embarking on a journey back to the mountains where her ordeal had begun. Despite her mother's initial reluctance, she refused to be deterred, determined to seize every moment of her newfound freedom. Together with Pam and Lee, Geraldine returned to the scene of her greatest trial, facing down the serpent that had once threatened to consume her. In a moment of courage and defiance, she released the creature back into the river, reclaiming her power and proving herself a true conqueror of fear. When they stood together on the banks of the river, Geraldine, Pam, and Lee shared a bond forged in the crucible of adversity, united by the strength of their friendship and the triumph of the human spirit. And as they looked ahead to the future, they knew that no challenge was too great to overcome, so long as they faced it together. After watching this story, what do you think of? Then there is another story about an explosion. Let's expect what will happen. Roshan, a vibrant young girl, lived with her family in the peaceful village of Gulban, which was nestled in the heart of Afghanistan's rugged mountains. This tight-knit community was a place where the laughter of children filled the air, and neighbors were more like family. Known for her bright eyes and joyful spirit, Roshan was a cherished presence in the village. However, one afternoon, the tranquility of Gulban was violently disrupted. As Roshan assisted her mother in the kitchen, their world was torn apart by an explosion. A bomb, a stark symbol of the ongoing conflict surrounding their village, detonated nearby. The shockwave from the blast triggered a catastrophic accident at home. A gas cylinder in their kitchen exploded, engulfing Roshan in flames. Her mother, in a state of sheer panic, fought to extinguish the fire, while neighbors rushed to their aid. Despite the immediate care provided by the village polyclinic, it became clear that Roshan's injuries were beyond their capacity to treat. She had suffered severe burns that required advanced medical intervention, something far beyond the small facility's abilities. Throughout that harrowing night, Roshan's mother, alongside the caring villagers, stayed by her side. They offered whatever comfort they could, their presence a beacon of hope in the bleakness of the situation. United in their concern, they prayed fervently for Roshan's recovery, refusing to let despair take hold. This tragic event marked the beginning of a challenging journey for Roshan. Yet, it was also the start of an unexpected transformation. Just when all seemed lost, a remarkable opportunity presented itself, one that would profoundly change Roshan's life and set her on a new path. This twist of fate, emerging from the depths of her despair, promised a glimmer of hope and a chance for Roshan to reclaim her future. Days later, Roshan stirred from the haze of unconsciousness, her mind grappling with the harsh reality of her surroundings. The sterile walls of the hospital room loomed over her, suffused with the scent of antiseptic, as she slowly regained consciousness. Her body bore the marks of the traumatic incident, severe burns etched across her face and chest, remnants of the fiery explosion that had engulfed her. The once smooth contours of her skin were now marred by blistered flesh, each movement causing a sharp, searing pain that echoed through her fragile form. With great effort, Roshan peeled back the layers of bandages that shrouded her wounds, her heart heavy with dread. In the reflection of the mirror, she confronted the altered visage that stared back at her, a face distorted by scars and disfigurement, a stark departure from the vibrant girl she once knew herself to be. The realization of her changed appearance struck her like a blow, plunging her into a whirlpool of despair and anguish. It felt as though a part of her identity had been torn away, leaving behind only a shadow of her former self. And as her family gazed upon her with tear-filled eyes, she knew that they, too, shared in her silent agony, their hearts heavy with sorrow for the loss they had all endured. Despite their relentless efforts, Roshan's parents found themselves hitting a wall in their search for medical treatment. They embarked on a desperate journey, traversing vast distances in pursuit of specialists and experts who could offer a glimmer of hope. Yet, at every turn, they were met with the same disheartening verdict: there seemed to be no viable solution for Roshan's burns. As the days wore on, Roshan and her family grappled with the grim reality of their situation. They mourned the loss of the vibrant girl Roshan once was, while grappling with the stark truth of her disfigurement. However, amidst the darkness, a flicker of hope emerged, a belief that even amidst the depths of suffering, there existed the possibility of finding beauty and purpose in life. Their hopes were buoyed when a doctor from the international organization Doctors Without Borders arrived in their village as a volunteer. Upon learning of Roshan's plight, he was deeply moved and resolved to help her. With unwavering determination, he reached out to Dr. Adam Rahman, a renowned plastic surgeon based in New York, known for his expertise in treating burns. Dr. Rahman, touched by Roshan's story, readily agreed to take on her case. With the organization facilitating transportation, Roshan was swiftly brought to Dr. Rahman's clinic. The doctor conducted a thorough assessment of her condition, recognizing the extent of her injuries and the profound impact they had on her life. Drawing upon his expertise, Dr. Rahman devised a comprehensive treatment plan tailored to Roshan's unique needs. He outlined a series of procedures aimed at both improving the functionality and restoring the aesthetics of her injuries. However, he cautioned Roshan and her family that the road to recovery would be long and challenging, requiring unwavering perseverance and resilience. Dr. Adam assured Roshan and her family that he would spare no effort in helping her regain her confidence and quality of life, no matter how daunting the road ahead might seem. After the critical initial surgeries, during which Roshan required intensive care and close monitoring, Dr. Adam arranged for her to recuperate in his own home. Recognizing the importance of providing a safe and supportive environment during this delicate phase of her recovery, Dr. Adam's family warmly welcomed Roshan into their home. His children and wife embraced Roshan, offering her companionship and support as she navigated the challenges of rehabilitation. In Dr. Adam's home, Roshan found herself gradually healing both physically and emotionally. The warm and inviting atmosphere provided her with a sense of security and belonging that she had longed for during her recovery. Bonding with the family's children, who embraced her as a cherished sibling, played a significant role in Roshan's healing journey. Through shared activities, playtime, and laughter, Roshan found solace and comfort in the company of her newfound family. Their genuine affection and companionship helped her shed the emotional burdens she had carried for so long. In this nurturing environment, Roshan also discovered a newfound motivation to pursue personal growth and development. Encouraged by her new family, she eagerly engaged in various activities and embraced opportunities to learn and explore. English language lessons became not only a means of communication but also a symbol of her resilience and determination to build a brighter future. As Roshan's confidence grew and her spirit revived, she began to regain hope in life. Supported by Dr. Adam's family, she found the strength to overcome adversity and embrace the possibilities that lay ahead. Knowing that she was not alone in her journey toward healing and recovery, Roshan embarked on a path of transformation. Under Dr. Adam's care, Roshan underwent a series of milestone surgeries that marked significant turning points in her recovery. The initial skin grafting surgery addressed the extensive burns on her face and chest, laying the foundation for healing and restoration. Roshan's journey to recovery was fraught with significant challenges, particularly with eating, as the fire had severely damaged her face, melting parts of it and impairing her ability to chew and swallow. The reconstructive surgeries she underwent were meticulously planned not just to rebuild her facial aesthetics but to enhance her functional capabilities, allowing her to eat without discomfort. These surgeries, along with scar revision and facial rejuvenation treatments, significantly improved her appearance, which in turn, greatly boosted her self-esteem. Dr. Adam's comprehensive approach didn't stop at aesthetics, he was equally focused on restoring Roshan's facial functions. Through a series of functional restoration surgeries, he ensured that Roshan could blink, smile, and breathe with ease. With each successful surgery, Roshan's resilience was fortified, supported by the unwavering encouragement from Dr. Adam, his family, and the broader community. This collective support became a cornerstone of her recovery, propelling her towards her goals with renewed hope and determination. As Roshan approached the culmination of her treatment journey, Dr. Adam meticulously performed final touch-ups to refine her appearance further, ensuring she felt utterly confident as she prepared to reintegrate into her everyday life. Meanwhile, the longing of Roshan's parents for their daughter intensified with each passing day. Despite the physical distance, their connection remained strong, sustained by regular updates from Dr. Adam and the comfort found in their fervent prayers for Roshan's swift and complete recovery. The bond between Roshan and her parents, though tested by distance, remained indestructible, a testament to their mutual love, hope, and belief in a brighter, shared future. After a year filled with surgeries and recovery, Roshan was finally prepared to reunite with her parents. While Dr. Adam's family felt a bittersweet pang at her departure, they recognized that her place was with her parents, who eagerly awaited her return. Roshan's transformation extended beyond the physical. During her time in New York, she had not only healed physically but had also grown emotionally and psychologically, thanks to the support of a psychologist who helped her process the accident's trauma and embrace life's challenges with grace and resilience. As Roshan bid farewell to Dr. Adam, his family, and the city that had been her sanctuary, she took with her the lessons learned and the strength gained from her ordeal, ready to face the future with courage and optimism. While the day of her departure neared, Dr. Adams and his family meticulously planned a touching farewell for Roshan. It was a celebration that wove together moments of joy, tears, and profound expressions of affection, creating an unforgettable tapestry of human connection. They gifted Roshan tokens of affection and mementos, each item a symbol of the deep bonds and cherished memories they had cultivated together. Roshan, overwhelmed by emotion, said her goodbyes to the friends who had become like family in the city that had been her sanctuary, if only for a while. On the journey back to Afghanistan, Roshan was a bundle of mixed feelings as she boarded the military aircraft, her passage facilitated by the very organization that had been her beacon of hope. The flight was a whirlwind of anticipation and a touch of anxiety, carrying her over landscapes that spoke of familiarity in stories untold. Afghanistan unfolded beneath her, a canvas of her past, present, and future. The moment the plane's wheels kissed the Afghan soil, Roshan knew she had traversed a full circle. Despite the adversities faced and the obstacles conquered, she was home. With a heart brimming with courage and gratitude, she was ready to step into the future, carrying the strength and wisdom she had garnered from her experiences. Today's narrative sheds light on the resilience of a soul that, despite being victimized in childhood, rises above the trauma and violence. Such stories evoke a deep reflection on the injustices no child should ever experience. What are your thoughts on the societal and individual roles in protecting and nurturing the innocence and potential of every child? Your insights and reflections are welcome in the comments section below. After watching this story, what do you think of? Then there is another story about an infant. Let's expect what will happen. When Courtney went into labor, the delivery room was filled with tension and anxiety. Her cries echoed loudly, prompting the doctors to work diligently to ensure a successful delivery. Finally, the newborn arrived, bringing a sense of relief and calmness to Courtney. However, her joy quickly turned to concern when she noticed the shocked expressions on the faces of the doctors. As the medical team briskly rushed the baby out of the ward without allowing Courtney to hold her, her anxiety escalated into panic. She pleaded for an explanation, but the doctors reassured her while whisking the child away. Courtney's screams of fright filled the room, tears streaming down her face, as she begged for answers. Meanwhile, Evan, Courtney's husband, arrived at the ward and was met with the sounds of his wife's distress. Concerned, he sought answers from the doctors, but was told to trust the medical team. Returning to Courtney's side, he did his best to calm her down, assuring her that everything would be okay. 2 weeks later, the couple finally held their baby. Tears welled up in Evan's eyes as he cradled their child, while Courtney wiped away a tear from his face before tightening her arms around him. In that moment, surrounded by their newborn and their love for each other, they knew that their journey had been worth it. After being married for over 5 years without a child, Courtney and her husband, Evan, embarked on a challenging journey to conceive. They underwent numerous medical tests and treatments, including multiple rounds of IVF, in their quest to start a family. Despite their efforts, they faced disappointment time and again, leaving them both exhausted and frustrated. Courtney often found herself overcome with emotions, waking up in tears in the middle of the night. Evan, in his efforts to console her, reassured her that their time would come, but as the delays persisted, he too began to feel the weight of their struggles. The strain on their relationship became evident as they found themselves arguing more frequently, even over minor issues that would typically be quickly resolved. Their once loving bond began to fray as Evan, overwhelmed by his own frustrations, inadvertently placed blame on Courtney for their inability to conceive. Meanwhile, Courtney, feeling the sting of his words and the weight of their shared disappointment, lashed out in return, worsening the rift between them. Unable to bear the strain any longer, Courtney made the difficult decision to take a break from their relationship, seeking solace in solitude. Packing her belongings, she left their home, leaving Evan to grapple with the pain of her departure. He cursed himself for the hurt he had caused her, realizing too late the depth of her suffering. Despite Evan's pleas for her to return and his promises of greater understanding and support, Courtney remained resolute in her need for space. However, just when it seemed their relationship was irreparably damaged, a miraculous discovery changed everything. A month after their separation, Courtney noticed a missed period, sparking a glimmer of hope within her. Courtney's visit to the hospital for a pregnancy test marked a turning point in their journey. As she anxiously awaited the results, her heart raced with anticipation. When the test confirmed her pregnancy, her joy knew no bounds. Tears of happiness streamed down her face as she held the test result, speechless with emotion. Eager to share the news with Evan, she called him immediately. Evan, unsure of what to expect, was taken aback by the sheer excitement in Courtney's voice. Though initially puzzled by her scream, he quickly realized the significance of her words. Overwhelmed with joy, he couldn't contain his excitement, his own tears of happiness mirroring Courtney's. In his eagerness to have Courtney back home, Evan pleaded with her to return, emphasizing the importance of both parents being there for their child. Courtney was touched by his heartfelt plea and was surprised when Evan referred to the baby as Brena. Intrigued, she questioned him about the name choice, to which Evan confidently asserted that their child would be a girl named Brena Helen Marie. Despite Courtney's suggestion to wait for the scan results, Evan's unwavering conviction won her over. With a renewed sense of hope and anticipation, Courtney agreed to return home, marking the beginning of their reconciliation. As they reunited, their love began to blossom once again, strengthened by the shared excitement of welcoming their daughter, Brena, into the world. A month after Evan's confident prediction about their baby's gender, Courtney went for a scan, confirming their expectations of a baby girl. Their hearts swelled with joy as they embarked on preparations for Brena's arrival, gathering clothes, diapers, and all the essentials a newborn would need. Evan's unwavering support during this time was a testament to his dedication as a husband and soon-to-be father. Despite his demanding work schedule, he accompanied Courtney to all her antenatal checkups, ran errands, and even exercised with her to ensure her well-being. Evan's attentiveness extended to satisfying Courtney's cravings and condoning her mood swings, striving to keep her happy and stress-free. Courtney, overwhelmed by his gestures, couldn't help but feel grateful for his unwavering support. Every kick from their unborn daughter filled her with indescribable joy, dispelling any pain or discomfort she might have felt. The journey of pregnancy, despite its challenges, brought Courtney and Evan closer together, reinforcing their bond as they eagerly anticipated Brena's birth. Evan, ever the devoted father-to-be, even took up learning hairstyling skills in anticipation of styling Brena's hair to perfection. When the delivery date approached, Courtney found herself unexpectedly alone at home one day when Evan was called for an emergency meeting at the office. When her water broke, signaling the onset of labor, she frantically tried to reach Evan, but with no response, she took matters into her own hands, arranging for transportation to the hospital. The pains of labor intensified with each passing moment, testing Courtney's endurance as she wailed and screamed in agony during the ride to the hospital. Despite her urgency, the cab driver navigated through the streets with caution, ensuring they reached the hospital safely and in time for the imminent arrival of their daughter, Brena. The cabbie wasted no time, rushing Evan to the hospital and alerting the nurses as soon as they arrived. With urgency, the nurses swiftly assisted Courtney from the cab to the delivery room. One of the nurses, a familiar face to Courtney, settled the cab fare with the driver, alleviating one worry amidst the chaos. As Courtney labored to bring forth her child, a mixture of relief and gratitude flooded her being. Finally, the moment she had longed for was at hand. She was about to become a mother. However, her joy was short-lived as she noticed the grim expressions on the doctors' faces. Before she could fully comprehend the situation, her newborn baby was whisked away, leaving her with a sense of foreboding. A quick glance at her baby revealed a sight that filled Courtney with apprehension. The baby's skin was a deep shade of red, covered in thick white scales. Though she wanted to believe it could be managed, the solemn looks exchanged among the medical staff hinted at a different reality, instilling fear in her heart. Brena was swiftly transported to the ICU, where a series of tests were conducted, including a physical examination, genetic testing, and a skin biopsy. The diagnosis confirmed her worst fears. Brena suffered from the rare genetic disorder known as harlequin ichthyosis. This disorder, characterized by an overproduction of skin cells, posed significant challenges to Brena's survival, as her delicate skin made her highly susceptible to infections. For the next 2 weeks, Courtney and Evan found themselves immersed in a whirlwind of emotions as they kept a vigil by Brena's bedside in the ICU. Their hearts heavy with the fear of losing their newborn daughter, they clung to hope, praying fervently for her recovery. While Courtney watched over her baby in the ICU, the severity of Brena's condition became apparent. Her skin, thickened into patches with deep red cracks, posed significant challenges. Her fingers and toes, permanently shortened, struggled to grow normally. Thickened skin covered her ears and nose, while her eyelids were flipped inside out, revealing the extent of her condition. Despite the bleak prognosis, Brena's resilience defied the odds, and she emerged from the ordeal, a beacon of hope amidst adversity. Though her journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, Courtney and Evan found solace in the miracle of their daughter's survival, clinging to the hope of brighter days ahead. 2 weeks after their child's birth, the couple was finally able to hold their precious baby, embarking on a journey of unwavering commitment to ensure that Brena would thrive in a nurturing environment filled with love. This unexpected turn of events significantly transformed the daily life of the West Lakes. With Brena now at the center of their world, they adapted their routines to meet her unique needs. Brena's care involved lengthy baths to gently remove her excess skin. Evan, who had envisioned braiding his daughter's hair, lovingly combed the sparse locks she had, showing immense patience and care. The family regularly visited several doctors to ensure Brena received the specialized attention her condition necessitated. Despite the challenges, the West Lakes never once saw Brena as anything less than a beloved child deserving of love and care. Courtney, embracing her role, stepped into the limelight to share their story, educating other parents about Brena's disorder and offering guidance on managing similar challenges. Brena's condition affected her growth, making her appear smaller than other children her age. Her skin was constantly red and swollen, a result of excessive skin production that also led to sparse hair due to damaged follicles. This visible difference led to stigmatization, with Brena receiving awkward stares and questions from both adults and children alike. These reactions deeply saddened Courtney, prompting her to address the issue publicly. She questioned why people hesitated to engage with those who looked different, urging them to embrace curiosity and openness rather than avoidance. Beyond raising awareness, Courtney created a blog titled, Blessed by Brena, and authored a book named, A Different Kind of Beautiful, seeing Brena's condition as an avenue to support and inspire other parents, especially those with children facing disabilities. Despite her skin condition, Brena exhibited the joys and behaviors of any other child, cherishing her family, enjoying bedtime stories, and playing with an admirable level of confidence. Courtney shared on her blog how Brena embodied determination, extroversion, and a delightful mix of sweetness and sassiness. Their lives were filled with genuine joy, contentment, gratitude, and faith. The Westlakes openly expressed their gratitude for Brena, considering themselves blessed to have her. Through their journey, they've gleaned invaluable insights into parenting a child with unique needs, eagerly sharing their experiences to enlighten and support other families in similar situations. We invite our readers to share their thoughts and feelings. How would you react if you were in the Westlake's shoes, encountering the same challenges with your child? Join the conversation in the comments below.